Wow, it really has been a while since the last video, so how about we get started with one of your favourite series? Shopping for a graphics card is never easy, and it's made even harder when you're on a tight budget, because budget cards typically have the worst performance to price ratio of any graphics card. So when your budget is restricted to just £100, where do you begin the search? Well, keep watching because I think I might just have the answer. To really scrape as much value out of our potential ultimate graphics card as possible, we're going to be restricting ourselves to second-hand graphics cards. The reason being that second-hand graphics cards from older generations don't have the same issues as budget cards of the current generations. You see, a 2 or 3 generation old flagship card will still significantly outperform a modern budget card, even if they're selling for the exact same price. If we were to insist on current gen tech, we'd be limiting ourselves to the likes of the GT 1030 or RX 550. And well, if you haven't seen it already, go check out this video to find out why those cards perform so much worse than their equally priced competitors. And so armed with that information, we have to pick a card to test. If you've seen my videos in this series before, you'll know I usually pick just one card to test, but today I thought we'd try two, because hey, why not? I wanted to try and represent both manufacturers in this video, and so I picked one graphics card from Nvidia and another one from AMD, both of which are regularly priced at £100 or less on the used market, and neither of which are in the latest generation of video cards from either manufacturer. Now, you might be thinking that this is going to be a simple case of which graphics card is fastest, but oh no, ladies and gentlemen, I really do wish this was going to be as simple as that. This is going to be far, far more interesting. In the red corner, we have an XFX GPU. It's big, it's powerful, it guzzles through an 8-pin power connector, it's got HDMI, DVI and 3 DisplayPort connectors. It's got a core clock of 1366 MHz and 4GB of GDDR5 VRAM. It's the RX 580. And in the green corner, we have this GPU from Gigabyte. It's fast, it's nimble, featuring just one HDMI, one DVI and one DisplayPort. Can it keep up with this behemoth of a card? It's punching above its weight. It's got a core clock of 1455 MHz and 768 CUDA cores. It's the GTX 1050Ti! Whew. And with that very embarrassing segment out of the way, let's take a serious look at these cards. The RX 580 4GB is sourced from AliExpress, where you can regularly find it selling for £90 or less, including postage and packaging. The GTX 1050 on the other hand has been sourced from eBay, where you can regularly find deals on this card between £80 and £100. But it's when you start to look at the benchmarks that things get interesting. Because despite their similar sale price, these cards have anything but similar performance, as you would probably expect. So here are the results of our benchmarks. Now, as usual, I've paired these GPUs with the following hardware: a stock speed AMD 3600 6-core processor, as well as 32GB of DDR4 RAM. So it's just our usual test setup. Now just remember guys, just because one of the cards beats the other does not mean that that is the one you should buy. From our Unison Valley benchmark using the Extreme HD preset, we can see that the RX 580 pulls a significant early lead. The 1050 Ti only catches up a fraction when overclocked, but unfortunately it's nowhere near significant enough to have an impact here. Now, Rocket League allowed both cards to really fly. It's a super easy game to play, both achieving average FPS figures in excess of 144, easily enough for any gamer. The RX 580 certainly performs better though, with significantly higher averages and 0.1 and 1% lows. Now, I've recently been playing loads of modded Minecraft with shaders, and so thought this would be a good benchmark. Now, I was using the Seuss shaders on high presets, and we definitely saw both cards really struggle. In fact, the GTX 1050 Ti just about scraped 20 FPS averages, providing a stuttering experience with 0.1% lows dropping to the sub 10 FPS range. Once overclocked, this improved slightly, but not enough to make the experience smooth. In fact, the RX 580 also struggled here, just scraping over the 30 FPS average line by 0.4 frames per second, but falling shy of a 10 FPS 0.1% low by 0.1 FPS. GTA 5 was actually a much more forgiving title, which is likely due to the fact that it's almost a decade old now. Not that you would know, since Rockstar is still milking it for every penny that GTA Online is worth. The 1050 Ti gave us an admirable 82 FPS average at 1080p high settings, and then, when overclocked, bumped up to 92 frames per second average. However, this still falls shy of the RX 580's 98 FPS average, though it should be noted that the RX 580 did have lower 0.1 and 1% lows, and so this did result in some scenes looking much choppier than that of the GTX 1050 Ti, though I have to admit this was only in limited scenarios and particularly when there were lots of explosions. At 1080p high, both cards performed surprisingly poorly in The Witcher 3. The RX 580 came close to a 60 FPS average, hitting 55.1 FPS, whereas even an overclocked 1050 Ti only managed 38.6 frames per second. Though it is important to note that just like GTA 5, the RX 580 did indeed have worse 0.1 and 1% lows. However, I would probably argue that the RX 580 still had a significantly better experience overall. In the classic benchmark Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the difference was actually night and day. The GTX 1050 Ti scored almost half of the RX 580, with an average FPS of just 36 compared to 61. And so guys, as I mentioned earlier, this isn't as simple as who scores the highest FPS. Oh no, because there are several other factors we have to consider. As I mentioned previously, the RX 580 was sourced from AliExpress. This means not only do you have to wait longer for it to arrive, but you also have to take that common AliExpress gamble. And this time, guys, it looks like I lost. In fact, I lost really badly. You see, the RX 580 I have here is plagued by countless crashes. You would not believe the ridiculous amount of time it took to get these benchmarks done. In fact, I spent most of my time restarting the PC after fatal system errors. My best guess is that the RX 580 has a failing VRAM controller that tended to crash and occur when VRAM usage spiked. In the interest of total transparency though, I have to admit that this is the first GPU I have had from AliExpress that did not function exactly as described, and both the seller and AliExpress were very quick to offer a refund if I did return the product, though granted I did have to pay return packaging. But in the end I didn't actually end up doing that because XFX offered to do a warranty support, even though it does say on their website that they won't honour the warranty if you did purchase it second hand. So that was really nice of them, and they didn't know about the YouTube channel or anything, so it's not like they were giving me extra bonuses just because I had a YouTube channel either. So even though in the end I ended up getting the card fixed, it's not quite as simple as which card performs better, because while they are more or less the same price point, the risk factor involved with the RX 580 deal is significantly higher, and you may end up wasting a lot of time and energy. So your choices are twofold. Number one, play it safe. Get the GTX 1050 Ti and know that you will more than likely get a 100% working product and you'll be covered by PayPal buyer protection. Or number two, take the AliExpress route, get a card which can perform significantly better, and we're not just talking a little bit, but up to 80% better. But you also have to risk having to return the GPU or try and get a warranty support, and mine was only just within XFX's warranty as well, by a matter of days. Or if you're happy to settle for an older card, which will see far fewer driver updates, perhaps look into the GTX 970, which despite being released in 2014, fits perfectly between the GTX 1050 Ti and RX 580 in terms of raw FPS performance. Now, I'll leave that decision up to you guys, but personally, I found playing with this specific RX 580 to be, well, impossible. Now, chances are, if you order one of these, yours will work fine. But be prepared to go through the hassle that I did, returning it if it doesn't. So if you guys did enjoy that video, then please be sure to give it a massive like, and do be sure to hit the subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. It's been a while since I last made a video, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm really struggling to get them out at the moment because I've just got so much to be getting on with. I'm starting a new job soon and I've got to prepare for that, but I am trying to get some videos made for you to all enjoy. So if you did enjoy the video, do be sure to hit like, comment down below and hit subscribe, but I will see you hopefully in the next video.